Hello, we're on page 129 of Ray Franz's In Search of Christian Freedom. His chapter on the faithful and discreet slave, and this is the subhead, A Chain of Invisible Links. The Watchtower's claims require a chain of generation after generation of a close-knit slave class, with that chain eventually connecting up with Charles Taze Russell and the Watchtower Society he founded. Reviewing his history, we find that as a young man, Russell had separated from all religious affiliations due to his loss of faith in them. He later attended a Second Advent meeting, but said that those present succeeded only in re-establishing his wavering faith in the divine inspiration of the Bible. At 18 years of age, Russell thereafter formed a little Bible class, as he put it, from among some associates. One might think that the Second Advent movement of young Russell's time was the faithful and discreet slave, since he writes of being helped by such Second Adventists as George Storrs and George Stetson, and admittedly received his major time prophecies, including that involving 1914 from Second Adventist N.H. Barber. He even became an associate editor of Barber's magazine, the Herald of the Morning. Yet the book, God's Kingdom of 1,000 Years is Approached, on pages 185 and 186, pointedly says of Russell's initial study group, quotation direct from that book, 30 years later found a small group of men not associated with the Adventists or affiliated with any of the religious sects of Christendom, studying the Holy Scriptures at Pittsburgh, that is Allegheny, Pennsylvania, USA. They studied independently so as to avoid looking at the Bible through sectarian spectacles. End of quote. Russell himself asserted that Adventism helped me to know single truth, and he is portrayed in society-approved publications as having to take down his Bible from the shelf and study it on his own, privately and independently. Such a course today would be denounced as presumptuous, ineffectual, a rejection of God's channel, contrary to God's historical way of providing understanding of His Word through an organization. Remember the Watchtower statement, direct quote from the Watchtower, October 1st, 1967, page 587. The Bible is an organizational book and belongs to the Christian congregation as an organization, not to individuals, regardless of how sincerely they may believe that they can interpret the Bible. For this reason, the Bible cannot be properly understood without Jehovah's visible organization in mind. End of quote. The Society's official history, Ray goes on, Jehovah's Witnesses in the Divine Purpose, page 17, further says of Russell, quote, he was not the founder of a new religion, never made such claim. He revived the great truths taught by Jesus and the apostles, and turned the light of the 20th century upon these teachings. He made no claim of a special revelation from God, but held that it was God's due time for the Bible to be understood, and that being fully consecrated to the Lord and to His service, he was permitted to understand it. So at the bottom of that page, 130 that is, there is a footnote again about what the Watchtower admits about Russell's influences, and somehow how this doesn't gel with this notion of a continuous faithful and discreet slave class over the centuries. The comment that Ray makes about the Watchtower's way of glossing over that period is this: while it may be true that Second Adventism did not help Russell to any single truth, Second Adventists certainly did provide him with a number of his views, including that of 1914. Furthermore, there were other magazines published by Second Adventists, such as Storrs' Bible Examiner or Barber's Herald of the Morning, that were very similar in content to Russell's Zion's Watchtower. So in the wake of this fudging of history in the case of Russell and his companions and those that became his followers for the next generation or two, we have to ask, what faithful and discreet slave class did Russell and his followers get their truths from? And in the next segment, two RFs, that is Ray Franz and Ron Fry, examine what was Russell's view of this faithful and discreet slave of Matthew 24.